Welcome back to What Does That Mean? The podcast where we break down engineering, planning, and construction in plain English. I'm Brendan from JCE.
And I'm Jo. If you're a developer, builder, homeowner, or just someone trying to make sense of the construction world, you're in the right place.
Every episode, we take a topic that costs people real money, real time, and real stress, and we unpack it so you actually understand what's going on, why it matters, and what you can do about it.
No jargon walls, no lectures, just practical, common sense advice from the people who see these problems every single day. Okay, Brendan, we're going to do something a little bit different today. Every conference, every LinkedIn post, every industry magazine is talking about AI and technology and robots on construction sites. And honestly, half of it sounds like science fiction. So I want you to cut through that noise. What's actually real? What's still hype? And what should people in our world actually care about?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask about robot bricklayers because I'm pretty old school, but I am the right person to ask about what actually makes a project succeed or fail. And I think the AI conversation in construction is missing the point in a really important way. So yeah, let's get into it.
All right, give me the tech landscape. What's actually happening with AI and technology in construction right now? Not in some future vision, but right now in 2026.
Okay, so let's start with what's real. There is genuinely interesting stuff happening. Building information modeling, BIM, digital twins, and AI-driven project management tools are now moving from experimentation into actual use on major projects. That's a significant shift. The technology is no longer theoretical. It's being used on real jobs by real companies. And in New South Wales, the state government is actively trialling AI-assisted building approvals, using machine learning to assess development applications against planning codes. South Australia is piloting something similar for certain dwelling applications.
AI doing building approvals? That sounds like it could speed things up enormously.
In theory, yes. And the New South Wales government has pointed to it as a way to unlock more housing and boost productivity. The Federal Treasurer endorsed it as a model for other states. But, and this is important, planning is not just paperwork. It involves judgment, site context, stakeholder considerations, local knowledge. There are legitimate concerns about AI nudging decision makers, framing what gets seen and what gets ignored, and blurring responsibility when something goes wrong. So the technology has potential, but it's not a magic fix. It still needs human expertise driving the process.
What about modular construction and prefabrication? Because that's been the next big thing for about 20 years now.
Fair point, but there is actually something different happening now. In Bathurst, New South Wales, a company is rolling out what they call mobile microfactories, essentially containerized manufacturing units that can be deployed to a construction site to fabricate building components on the spot. They're claiming build times of 30 to 60 days and costs as low as 1/3 of traditional construction. Now, I want to see that at scale before I get too excited. But the concept of shifting from labor-intensive site construction to digitally controlled manufacturing is genuinely promising, especially given our labor shortages.
1/3 of the costs? That's an extraordinary claim.
It is, and extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence. I'll be watching closely. But here's the number that tells you why the industry is so hungry for these solutions. The potential productivity gap in Australian construction, the average between what the industry produces and what it could produce is $56 billion a year. $56 billion. That's the prize if we can actually crack the productivity problem. And the Productivity Commission has said construction productivity has been in the doldrums for 30 years. So the need is real and it's urgent.
Okay, so here's where you get controversial. You've told me before that AI isn't the answer to construction problems. So what is?
Well, I didn't say AI isn't part of the answer. I said it's not the answer. The answer? The boring, unsexy, nobody writes a LinkedIn post about answer is better documentation, better coordination, better engineering upfront. We've covered this in previous episodes. but it bears repeating because the numbers are so stark. 70% of all rework in construction traces back to the design and documentation errors. Rework contributes to over 50% of all cost growth, and reducing rework by half would be the equivalent of adding 200,000 workers to the industry. You don't need a robot for that. You need a competent engineer with a complete set of drawings.
So the most powerful technology in construction is good paperwork?
I know it's not going to win any innovation awards, but yes, a complete, coordinated, accurate set of construction documents is the single highest impact technology you can deploy on any project. And here's the irony: AI could actually help with this. AI-powered design clash detection, automated code compliance checking, coordinated 3D modeling. These are tools existing right now, and they directly address the 70% of rework that comes from documentation errors. But the industry is more excited about robots pouring concrete than it is about AI checking whether the structural and hydraulic designs actually line up. It's the boring stuff that moves the needle.
And what about these data centers? Because we touched on these in the last episode. AI is literally competing with construction for workers.
This is the great irony of the whole AI conversation. The technology that's supposed to help construction is simultaneously making construction harder. Global AI data center power capacity grew from about 0.15 gigawatts in early 2022 to nearly 30 gigawatts by the end of 2025. That's a 200-fold increase in under 4 years. One project in Texas alone, the Stargate project, carries a price tag of over 100 billion US dollars. And in Australia, 88 data centers have been built or are planned in Sydney alone. Local councils are literally calling for a moratorium on data center approvals because they're draining electricity, water, and construction labor from housing. The National Growth Areas Alliance has pointed out that the same councils expected to deliver 26% of Australia's new homes are also absorbing most of Sydney's data centre pipeline.
So AI needs buildings, and those buildings need the same workers who should be building houses.
Exactly. When a hyperscale data centre project offers premium wages to lock in electricians for 18 months, those electricians aren't available for housing. The Housing Industry Association estimates we need 83,000 more tradies just to meet the national housing, and data centers are pulling from that same pool. So anyone telling you AI is going to solve the housing crisis needs to also explain how AI is simultaneously making it harder to build houses. It's a genuine tension that nobody's resolved yet.
All right, let me pull this together. BIM and digital twins are going mainstream. AI is being trialled for building approvals in New South Wales and South Australia. Modular microfactories are claiming 1/3 cost reductions. $56 billion annual productivity gap nationally. 70% of rework traces to documentation errors. AI data center capacity grew 200 times in 4 years. 88 data centers in Sydney alone, and councils are calling for a freeze because data centers are competing with housing for workers and infrastructure.
And the punchline is AI is a tool, a potentially powerful tool, but a tool is only as good as the hand that holds it. If you give AI to an industry that doesn't do the basics well, that doesn't coordinate its designs, doesn't complete its documentation, doesn't properly investigate its sites, AI will just help you make the same mistakes faster. The foundation has to be right first, and that foundation is good engineering.
So, is JCE using AI? Are you practicing what you preach?
Yeah, of course we are. We're using modern design tools, we're using 3D modeling where it's appropriate, and we're involved in digital delivery of documentation. But the core of what JC delivers is human expertise, understanding the site, understanding the client's needs, coordinating between disciplines, and producing documentation that a builder can actually build from. AI can assist that process, but it can't replace the judgment that comes from years of seeing what works and what doesn't on real sites. JCE's approach to technology: adopt what adds value Ignore what's just noise and never let the tool become a substitute for thinking.
What about for homeowners and developers? Should they be looking for engineers and consultants who use AI?
Look for competence, not technology buzzwords. A consultant who uses the latest AI tools but doesn't do a site visit or talk to the builder is less valuable than one who uses a pencil and actually understands the project. That said, design tools have genuinely improved. You've got 3D modeling, clash detection, automated code checking, and these do reduce errors and improve documentation quality. But the question to ask your consultant isn't, do you use AI? It's how do you make sure nothing gets missed between your design and what gets built on site? If they have a good answer to that, the tools they use are secondary. Technology is only as good as the people behind it. Invest in good people first and let them choose the right tools.
So, final question, looking ahead 5 years, what's the one technology shift that you think will actually change construction for the average person?
Honestly, prefabrication and modular construction, if it scales properly. The ability to manufacture building components in controlled environments and assemble on-site dramatically reduces weather delays, labor dependency, and defect rates. This is where AI actually helps, optimizing manufacturing layouts, automating quality control, reducing waste. But even modular construction needs good engineering. The site still needs to be properly investigated. The foundations need to be designed for the actual ground conditions, and the services need to be coordinated. The future of construction isn't robots replacing tradies, it's better systems supporting good people. And the starting point for all of it, always, is proper engineering and complete documentation. That hasn't changed in 50 years, and it won't change in the next 50. Whatever the industry is looking like in 2032, 2040, and 2050, the projects that succeed will still be the ones that got the basics right. We're here to make sure our clients' projects are those ones.
All right, that was a big one. If people take one thing away from today, what is it?
Don't get distracted by the shiny stuff. AI, robots, drones, they're interesting. Some of it will genuinely matter, but the thing that will determine whether your project succeeds or fails hasn't changed. It's the quality of your engineering, the completeness of your documentation, and the competence of the people you choose to work with. Get those right, and everything else is a bonus.
And if you want to make sure those things are right, you know who to call.
We're always here. Give us a ring, send us an email, hit us up on socials. We'd love to hear what you're working on.
That's a wrap. Thanks so much for listening to another episode, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on the next one.